thought I'd go through briefly how I plan my trip. I do this kind of all the time, so I probably go over the top, partly because I'm looking for photographic locations and then where to park near them. So I start off with, can I show you? That's Google Maps. I find the area. This one is Reykjavik. Reykjavik's there, and going across from Reykjavik. So I print out the map of a vague area that I know I'm going to be interested in. I then go through, and in the case of this trip, I mark on places I want to go to. Does it focus? So I number them, and then in this case, CS1, so campsite 1. I list them on the sheet. This one is labelled 8, map 8. I then, and this is the bit that is maybe a bit me, I use a GPS, a Garmin GPS. I then work out using Google Maps, Google Earth, and then a website called Earthpoint Convert, which converts coordinates from Google Earth into various different formats. Now I choose this format here. So I go through my places, I get the GPS that matches with my map, and put some notes. Sometimes it's to do with time of day to go photographically, sometimes it's to do with the GPS is for a car park rather than for the site itself. If I can work out a way of making this available, I will. But then in the case of this trip, in previous trips I've done it on days, but this one I've done map 1. Oops, sorry, I covered it up. Map 1. So all of the places I want to see, or the campsites, possible campsites, were on here. So it allowed me variation. I knew vaguely where I was going to stay each night, but I changed immediately. First night I changed and stayed at the really crappy one. Let me find it actually. It was near the waterfall. Skogafoss. Skogafoss is the one. I've even put in capitals. Awful reviews, and I agree with that. It's just a car park, but I digress. You can see my other video about that. But then I vaguely put all the places I think I can go to in order, and if I can get to them, I get to them. Sometimes I miss out places. Sometimes it's I put on prices and things like that, so I know vaguely what it's going to cost me. Overall, I probably only go to maybe 50% of the places on this, but I've researched them, so I know vaguely where I am all the time, and I find that very helpful. Now in the case of Iceland, I'll show the website in the thing. A very useful website. Now Iceland, any map you get, any printed map I should say, even Google Maps, is out of date on the conditions of the road, and in Iceland that's very, very important. There is a website which I'll put in the thing, Vegaska. That's if you can, I don't know if you can focus. That's a printout from it. Well, basically they map the current up-to-date road surfaces, so you can see in dark colours paved, and in the browny colour gravel. And that's really important in Iceland, because there's some sites you want to go to that are gravel roads, and it's very, very helpful to be aware which ones. Some of the gravel roads in Iceland, the F one's only 4-wheel drive. You cannot go on them in 2-wheel drive. Some of the gravel ones are really, really, really bad. I didn't have too many problems. The worst one, as of my visit in June 2019, Bogafjordor. So that's basically in the northeast, and you go up here to see Puffins. It's about 70 kilometres I think to go up there, but you can see there's a fair chunk of gravel. That bit's fine, and then you get to this bend up the top here, and they were reconstructing it, and you were basically driving through a building site. It was really quite dangerous. But overall, if you stick to Route 1, the only gravel you're likely to see are in car parks as you come off the road. But and just to warn you, be careful. You can't drive onto them very quickly. You'll start getting a big mess. So you make sure you have to be prepared to brake well in advance before you go to them. But if you stick to route 1, you'll be fine.